Picasso painting wealth on a screen. My portfolio's a jazz riff, slick and serene. Good morning, crypto, the future's alive. Riding this wave, digital dive. From Bitcoin to Ether, I'm stacking my dough. BC Port Corp, I'm the star of the show. Wallet on fire, it's a blockchain blaze. Private keys locked up, vaults for days. Mining these coins, I'm the digital prospector. Every transaction's a jazz band connector. NFT spinning like a vinyl record. Rare art, rare beats, value detected. Flipping these assets, my hustle supreme. Crypto jazz freestyle, living the dream. Markets dance, unpredictable swing. Fortunes made with the keyboard fling. Rug pulls lurking, gotta stay sharp. Play the long game, crypto's my harp. The future's alive. Riding this wave, digital dive. From Bitcoin to Ether, I'm stacking my dough. BC Port Corp, I'm the star of the show.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Today, I've got a few headlines, like always. We're looking at Palantir's earnings from yesterday. Quite a explosive move on those. Overdid all predictions on those earnings. We've got police seizing Bitcoin and making a little bit of money off of it in the UK. And another company is doing a crypto, a Michael Saylor crypto style strategy, but this time with TON. We'll dive into that one here in just a second, but you know what I got pulled up like always. It's going to be that stock heat map. Looking at a little bit of some green this morning. We've got Apple to the upside off of its close, 0.48%. Looking to the upside this morning, 0.24%. We've got Nvidia up 3.62%. Continuing on those gains this morning, up 0.34%. Berkshire Hathaway closed in the red yesterday, 2.9% to the downside, looking to the upside 0.4%. We've got Amazon down 1.44%, but looking to the upside this morning 0.68%. We've got Eli Lilly also closing in the green yesterday, 0.8% to the upside, and continuing on that 0.1% towards the upside this morning. ExxonMobil down 2.07%, looking to the upside this morning 0.08%. We've got Tesla sitting to the upside off of its close 2.19%, and seeing a little bit of upside this morning 0.37% so far. We got P&G up 0.07%, continuing on those gains, up 0.21% this morning. Microsoft also closing extremely green yesterday, up 2.2%, seeing us in the green this morning as well, 0.35%. Google looking to the downside this morning after a very green close, up 3.05%, looking down 0.2% this morning. Meta, to wrap that on out, sitting up 3.5% and continuing to see some gains this morning, up 0.29%. We've got the crypto side of things looking like a little bit of some mixed bags here. This daily looking a little bit green. We've got a few red outliers though. Scrolling on down, we've got Bitcoin up 0.2%, Ethereum up 3.1%, XRP up 1.8%, BNB sitting up 0.3%. We've got Solana up 3.8%. We've got Tron sitting up 1.2%. Doge up 2.2% right now. Cardano sitting up 1.3%. We've got Hyperliquid up 3.2%. Stellar Lumens sitting in the red this morning, losing a spot in that market cap to Hyperliquid, sitting down 1.9%. SWI sitting up 1.1%. Chainlink also up 1.1%. We've got Bitcoin Cash up 2.8%. We've got HBAR sitting down 0.9% this morning. Litecoin making some massive moves towards the upside, sitting up 12.3% on that daily, taking 3 spots in that market cap, one from Avalanche, one from Leo Token, and one from TON. We've got Avalanche sitting down up 2.8%, losing that spot. We've got Leo Token taking a spot from TON, while TON slides down 7%. Let's hop over to that fear and greed. We're still sitting in that light greed on the stock side, just sitting at that 56 on that greed. So extremely light greed after we saw a little bit of some recovery from that giant dump on Friday. Hopping over to the crypto side of things, we have cooled down just a little bit after a little bit of a cool down on that price overnight, sitting at 60 and greed down 4 points. Hopping over to that liquidation heat map here, we've still got liquidity on both sides of us on the short-term time frame. Got that liquidity residing down at 113,150 for the bottom side. That top side coming in at $116,000. Scrolling on out to that higher term time frame, we got that 3-day sitting with a lot of liquidity at the top side, all the way up to that $116,000 mark, all the way down to that $115,700, and that bottom side coming in at that $113,150. Quite a bit of liquidity, very, very close to us on that bottom side. We will kind of have to take a look at that Bitcoin chart here in just a second and see if we can get that move back down, grab up the small little bit of liquidity that's up there, and then really make that move to the top side. Because once you start zooming out just a little bit further, you've got a lot of liquidity residing back close to that $120,000 mark. $119,900 for that top side there on the 1 week, and the bottom side coming in at $118,998. So basically $119,000 for that top side liquidity, a broad range of almost $1,000 to really come and grab some liquidity at. There's almost $100 million sitting at this extreme hotspot here on that weekly chart. Would really need to clear out that bottom side liquidity, grab that top side on the short term, and then continue on our way up out of our fair value gap. 2 week looking quite similar. That bottom side coming in a little bit higher, almost $20,000 for that bottom side. Top side coming in at $125,000 there. So quite a nice range on that 2 week as well for some top side liquidity. Let's hop over to that economic calendar. You know what we had coming out. We touched a little bit on it yesterday, but for the morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, going to be getting our balance of trade. We've got our imports and exports coming out of the United States. Canada also has theirs coming out this morning, but looking like another decrease on that, another negative on that balance of trade, but looking like we're narrowing that gap just a little bit. Was negative 71.5 billion last time, looking like a decrease of $10 billion there. Trying to narrow that gap was some of those tariffs that Donald Trump announced. Scrolling on down, we got ISM Services PMI coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern time, looking like a little bit of an increase on that forecast. Was 50.8 prior, looking at 51.5. I would not be too surprised to see that come out under forecast, but still over 50.8. If we do see anything wonky coming out this morning, might push markets down just a little bit and actually give us that ability to grab that bottom side liquidity. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart, see what we got going on in the chats this morning. Let me zoom that on out to the daily here. We've got Jesse Gluck first in the chat. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day so far. We got Dylan VA in here saying hi all, have a good day. Well, we hope you have a good day here as well, Dylan VA. Let's see who else we got. We got Freddie Jim saying, damn, that's a sick setup, my dude. Well, I appreciate that, Freddie, and I hope you have an amazing morning. We've got Jay Violet in here saying morning, everyone, and good evening to you, Jay Violet, over in Australia. Hope you're having a great day. Let's scroll this Bitcoin chart out just a little bit, get it moved on over here. You saw us come extremely close to the top side of our fair value gap. That was that area we were looking at for some resistance for yesterday. After a little bit of some upside movements, we now came almost completely to the bottom side of that fair value gap. Saw a little bit of some buying pressure step in, and we were right back to the middle of our fair value gap. Quite close to where we were starting off yesterday, looking to see if we can continue to get a little bit of upside movements here. We do have those data drops coming out very early this morning, and we'll kind of have to keep our eye on that. I fell over today and hurt my knee. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Jay Violet. We don't need any more moderators falling on over and hurting themselves. Jesse, what did you start here? Y'all got to get it in control. There's no more falling over. Might have to wrap yourself in some bubble wrap. Keep yourself safe. I know it might look a little funky, but it'll keep you safe. We got a broken hip and a hurt knee. We can't be having no more injuries here. That wasn't supposed to happen at all, BC. Yeah, well, of course, no one intends to break their hip, Jesse. That's not the goal in life. So yeah. Well, just stay safe, stay indoors, Jesse, get your rest, heal that hip up, and then Jay Violet, you do the same. Let's see what we got going on here on this 4 hour. That daily is running a little bit sideways. Jay Violet saying she slipped on the wet bathroom floor. Both of y'all having some like older people injuries right now. I know you're not that old. We don't slip on the bathroom floor until we're like 70. And Jesse, we don't break hips until we're like 70. What is going on in the chat this morning? All right. This 4 hour also running a little bit sideways here, as we've seen that nice little pump up to the top side of our fair value gap, pulling back down to the bottom side of the fair value gap, and then landing right back at the midline here. Waiting to kind of see what this price action does this morning off of some of that data. We do see a little bit of some red money flow here, but nothing too worrisome. It was at a client's house. She is 71. See, she's supposed to fall on the floor, Jay Violet, not you. You're supposed to like kind of like help her as she's like slipping. You like catch her, and then she doesn't end up hurting her hip. You're not supposed to be the one that like slips on the bathroom floor. That's like the opposite of how that goes, Jay Violet. Oh goodness. Well, hopefully you feel better soon here. Let's see what we got going on here on this 1 hour, because that 4 hour moving extremely sideways, seeing a little bit of some resistance at that midline of the fair value gap this morning. We'll kind of have to see what that shorter term time frame really brings our way, because that's where all the big data is going to be. We've got this 1 hour looking like we do have a little bit of some hopium here for a little bit of some pumping back up to the top side of our gap here. Seeing that MACD line getting that curvature back towards the upside, that prime oscillator also doing so, but sitting a little bit red here. Money flow barely in the red here, so we'll be watching that shorter term time frame money flow, as your volume is also a little bit low here. Not too unexpected here on the hourly, after you saw a little bit of some resistance coming out of the top side of the fair value gap. Waiting to see that volume come in with some strength over the night. Did not happen. We did see a little bit of some volume trying to step back in here at the bottom side of that fair value gap. Saw that nice push back up to the midline, and now we're waiting to see if we can get that continuation towards the top side of that fair value gap, coming in at that 15,800 price point. Might see another little rejection there, really drag us back down to the bottom side of our fair value gap, as things are looking extremely toppy here on the 15-minute. We got that curvature here on the prime oscillator, a little bit of some sideways momentum here on the MACD as we're breaking above that zero line here. Would not be too unexpected to see that roll over if that money flow stays in the red here. That'll be what we're watching on that shorter term time frame. See if we continue to see that money flow hit those outflows and then grab that bottom side liquidity. Let's get back over to that real quick, see what that was coming at on the daily here. We had that at bottom side 13,150. Let's get that marked on out here, coming in a little bit under the bottom side of our fair value gap here. That bottom side coming in at 13,625. So a little bit underneath that is where we have all of our liquidity residing. If we do see that resistance coming in at the midline of this fair value gap and we're unable to hold our top side, that top side golden pocket fib extension, would look at grabbing that liquidity this morning and then really seeing if we can push back up to the top side and grabbing that top side. If we can at least hold the midline here this morning and get a little bit of sideways momentum on top of that, would look to see if we can grab that top side liquidity. So those are the two areas I'm really watching for this morning. Top side liquidity coming in at that 15,800 price point. We got a little bit of liquidity residing above the top side of the fair value gap. Not too unexpected after you saw this coming in as that top there, and you saw a lot of top side action at the top side of that fair value gap from back here. You got some stop losses that are set above those, and it definitely looking like after we saw all this bounce in action down up here, we saw some stop losses set below those lows there. So definitely looking at those few areas to see what kind of reaction we get off of this midline here. Let's hop into those news. Hopefully no other moderators get hurt, says Jesse. Yes, we cannot afford to lose any more moderators, especially from old people injuries like that. So I'm glad you're recovering quite nicely though, Jesse. Hopefully Jay Violet has a quick recovery as well. Let's see what we got going on here. This is that first news article. We talked about this yesterday. Palantir's earning, and Palantir stock is up 9% right now, 5% off of its close, up 4% this morning, and it blew past all of those expectations that Wall Street had forecasted on those earnings. Data company Palantir Technologies blasted past the sky-high expectations for its second quarter earnings report. Continued strength in the U.S. sales is driving revenue growth and profitability. Our products were built for this moment, and the numbers show it, says Chief Technology Shyam Sakar on the earnings call. I've been cautious I've been cautioned to be a little modest about our boombastic numbers, said the CEO, Alex Karp, on the call. But honestly, there's no authentic way to be anything but have enormous pride and gratefulness about these extraordinary numbers. Shares were up about 4% in after hours trading. They closed Monday 4.1% higher at a new all-time high according to Dow Jones market data. Quarterly revenue grew to over $1 billion for the first time, up 48% since the second quarter of 2024 and well beyond Wall Street's analyst consensus of 38% growth. U.S. revenues were up 68% annually. There has been a lot of focus on Palantir's contracts with the federal government, including a 10-year, $10 billion deal that consolidates 75 contracts Palantir had with the U.S. Army. The U.S. government sales were up 53% year over year. We will continue to watch Palantir. It has been absolutely on fire. I know Piper has talked quite a bit about Palantir as well, and I do expect them to continue on this massive growth for a little bit longer. We have started to see a little bit of some traction loss here, but some nice earnings will definitely help those numbers out just a little bit longer. Palantir gets less traction outside the US, with commercial sales down 3% over the year. Nothing too crazy there, as that US sector has really ramped up quite heavily. And this is that other news article I was taking a look at. Police get a £500,000 windfall from seized Bitcoin. Police force has had a £500,000 windfall after a cryptocurrency it seized went up in value. Lancashire police discovered that money which had been reported stolen in a major fraud case had been converted into Bitcoin. Before the original sum could be returned to the victim, the cryptocurrency had risen in value. A force spokesman said that the law force forbade paying victims more than had been stolen from them. Lancashire police have been allowed by the court to keep £500,000 surplus generated by the Bitcoin. All I gotta say in this is if you're going to commit crimes, which I don't suggest, do not use cryptocurrency to do so. It is very easily trackable, as every single transaction is written in the ledger, and all you need is that original address to really track anything else. So yeah, only dumb criminals use cryptocurrency to commit crimes. Don't be that guy. Don't commit crimes in general, but if you are gonna do it, don't use cryptocurrency to further your crimes. So, lesson learned. I doubt it, but NASDAQ listed Verb technology to build a $558 million TON treasury, rebrand as TON Strategy Co. Scrolling on down here, we got Verb Technologies is set to raise $558 million in a private placement to create the first publicly traded treasury strategy company based on TON. Verb Technologies company ticker Verb, which we actually took a look at on Wall Street Weekly yesterday. A NASDAQ-listed social commerce technology firm that helps brands sell products through live video and social media is set to raise $558 million in a private placement as it pivots to become the first publicly traded company to hold TON as its primary treasury reserve asset. The company plans to rebrand as TON Strategy Co. following the transactions expected to close on or around August 7th. It intends to use most of the proceeds to acquire TON and generate staking rewards, positioning itself as one of the largest holders of the token globally. We'll kind of have to follow this one, see how it goes, because you know, if 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 I've if you've been around in the crypto space long enough, you've seen similar kind of flashy news headlines to this in prior cycles. And if this ain't a topping signal, I don't know what is. Ton down 7%. Uh, Giant companies spending $558 million on Ton. Uh, we've got several other companies. We had a vape company building a BNB reserve. If that ain't a top-end signal, I don't know what is. But that's just my thoughts. I do think Bitcoin's got another leg up, but I don't know if all of these altcoins really see that nice crazy pump towards the upside. If you can make it through the bear market and all of those extremely low prices as a company holding this treasury asset, and you keep on buying to lower that entry, and then you make it into that next bull market, then you're probably doing okay. But that big part is making it through the bear market, especially if these stocks are tied to any kind of buyback program, where if someone wants their money back, they get their money back, or they get a portion of your stock. But if a portion of your stock is tied to the treasury that is massively losing its price evaluation, then that's going to be a bigger risk. And why would I want your stock? So a giant little loop that these companies need to get through. When we get to that bear market, we will kind of see how this all plays out. But for me, all these companies making treasuries is kind of a topping signal. Let's see, we got any alt request? I see Ada Ace in the chat. I appreciate you tuning on in. I guess that means we're going to have to take a look at Ada this morning. We got any other alt requests? Go ahead, throw them in the chat, and we'll get to those in just a second. We got Robert Mulligan coming on in here. I appreciate you showing on up, Robert Mulligan. I hope you're having a great morning so far. Let's see. Drip Flip, come flip Ada or World Mobile Token and test your luck. We have 20,500 of a token for the longest streak of the next 24 hours. It's okay. It's a blue rooster. If you know, then you know. I wasn't gonna say that because I don't want to risk not being able to monetize. Hey, we got Eric Wallen in the chat. Good morning to you. I saw you were asking about Tesla yesterday in the Discord, which if you're not a member of, that link is pinned at the top of the chat. So take a look at that Discord. We got a lot going on there. We can take a look at Tesla this morning as well. Here's Verb. We were talking about that one opening a ton treasury. We looked at price way up here when we were losing that 382. I talked about if we couldn't hold that the 236. I talked about if we couldn't hold this price point at 2307, looking back down to the 382 or the 50%. That 50% is where we saw a little bit of some bouncing action, but you continue to see that look a little bit toppy here on the shorter term time frame. 1 minute does look like you could continue to see a little reversal. 15 minute also seeing a little bit of some reversal signals coming our way as that prime oscillator continues to cool off. You've got your money flow looking like it's still heading on out on that 15 minute as well. Scrolling out to the hourly, that's where you see your first little bit of some hopium here, as you do see a little bit of some topping signals, prime oscillator in the red, but that money flow is absolutely insane here, and will take a lot of sell off to really get that to slide into some of that heavy selling pressure. You did have a giant CME gap here off of that news. We will kind of have to see if that gets closed on out. I do expect to see that 50% hold for now, and then if we do end up losing that a little bit later, seeing us get down to that golden pocket. Definitely a little bit of some buying ranges, but if you missed out on that, you might see some bouncing a little bit lower here. Let's hop over to that Tesla chart though. we did see quite a bit going on with Tesla, a nice little bit of some recovery after that downside. We got some very equal lows here, right here, which you did sweep most of that liquidity before you made this very equal low here. So I wouldn't expect a whole lot of liquidity to really be there to be grabbed on those futures market. So I would expect to kind of continue to see that pull back up to the 50% fib there. Let's get this pulled on out. Take a look at this daily. We have been seeing price constrict quite heavily. We had been watching this resistance line from here. When we got to the top side of it, saw that explosion to the 382. Let's get that one deleted and take a look at this constricting price that Eric Wallen had brought up in the Discord. We've been seeing some very nice very strong resistance to the top side there. Let me get that drawn a little bit better. There we go. There, got that coming off of those very equal candle bodies. Nice constricting price action on the top side, and the bottom side as well has a very nice strong support line here, getting that bouncing action off of those wicks on the bottom side, waiting to kind of see if that money flow holds steady on the higher term time frame. Let's get this zoomed on out just a little bit. Take a look at that weekly, see what that money flow is looking like there, because that money flow does look like you're coming in at a little bit of a bottoming action. You are seeing that prime oscillator get some curvature to the bottom side here, but could very easily see that switch because these candles do take a long time to print. You're seeing that sideways action here on the MACD, so we're at an indecision point, and we'll have to zoom that in to really see what kind of movements we might get here. Taking a look at that daily here, we do have a little bit of some red money flow, but nothing too worrisome as that volume holds quite steady here. Just seeing a little bit of some sell off as we've seen that after we saw that resistance come into play. We do have this gap here that needs to be, that it looks like is still just a little bit open there. Let me get that drawn on out for you. That's coming in top side directly above that wick there. Get that zoomed on in a little bit more. Wick looks like it actually closed that out. So this is a closed fair value gap. Would need to see us really get back above the midline of that, and after we get above the 50% line. So that's going to be a little, wrong button there. We wanted to lock that, not delete that. There we go. We want to see us get above that 50% line, really hold that on the fibs, and then get above that 50% line on our CME gap as well. That is a little bit of some resistance for now, and we'll kind of have to see what we got on that shorter term time frame here. 15-minute looking like that money flow in the green, and you could very easily break back into this CME gap. It was the bottom side was resistance here and here, but that bottom side had a little bit of some weakness here. So as we consolidated just a little bit on the bottom side of that CME gap, and we got that nice little bit of some cool off on the prime oscillator and the MACD as well. As we waited for that money flow to really switch from red to green, we could very easily break into this, see us do a little bit of some bouncing action on top of that 50% fib line, and then try to continue to the midline here. Let's see what that hourly was looking like. Hourly looking like you could get that break as well. So if we break back into that, wait for that MACD to get that continuation to the upside and that money flow that was green on the 15-minute to see that bleed over into the hourly. Good. Everyone, please make sure to like the stream. I appreciate that. Jesse Gluck. We see Donato Cabrera in here this morning. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day. Hope that answers some of your questions here, Eric. We do have a little resistance directly towards the upside, but if we can hold above that 50% line and get above the top side of that CME gap there, then you could really see that break above to the upside here, as that money flow is right in an area to really see some switching from that shorter term time frame into that hourly. Hourly starting to see that slow up of the sell off. You've got that 1 day really looking like you could get that sideways momentum here too, but looking like you could potentially see that resistance one more time at our resistance line, and then cool off with a little bit of bouncing action within that CME gap, and then get that break towards the upside there. Simeon Davis in here. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day. We got JR sliding in here at the very close to the end of things. Hope you're having a great day today, sir. Get that caffeine and let's get prepped. We've got ADA to take a look at this morning. As we got a few ADA lovers in the chat, we did talk about wanting to see us get above 74 cents. We've been doing some bouncing action on the top side of it, and we're breaking back towards the top side of it now. We did see that little bit of a rejection off of it, made a quick higher low, and then broke above there, but are really struggling to get above 75. 75.15 here. We'll kind of have to see if we can get above that area and then continue on up to 76 cents. Let's get this zoomed on out. Take a look at this daily here, see what we're looking at. And zoom it on out. Daily moving a little bit sideways here. We'll kind of have to see if we can get that money flow on the short-term time frame as we're getting that curvature back towards the upside. MACD running a little bit sideways, but could really complete that curvature towards the upside here if we get some bouncing action off for the top side of 74 cents. Let's take a look at this hourly. Hourly is looking quite nice for a little continuation towards the upside. If you can get that volume coming back in here, you do have a little bit of some resistance, like we said, at that 75 cent point. We're seeing that curvature back towards the upside here and on the MACD as well. So just waiting for that short-term time frame money flow, and then we could really get that continuation back up to 76 cents if we can turn that into some support, seeing us get up to 80 cents. If we see this coming in as some resistance, we got 74 cents to really hold a price action off of. That 76 cents is going to be that next real battle zone for ADA. Let's take a look at that 15-minute again and see what the morning's bringing our way here. A little bit of some toppiness as we get to that local resistance area at 75 cents here on the prime oscillator. Seeing a little bit of some sideways action start to step on in. Could definitely see that 75 cents be a little bit of a resistance area, coming back down to 74, and then trying to get that launch a little bit higher, especially with how that higher term time frame was looking. Would be nice to cool off that 15-minute with a little bit of some downside action. Seeing price hold up at about 74.5 cents to about 74 cents would be that area to kind of watch for some bouncing action at. Let's see, we got any other art requests? If not, we can take a look at something I was looking at yesterday. BCH was absolutely on a tear yesterday. It did cool down just a little bit here, starting to make some lower highs. Let's get this zoomed on out. Take a look at that hourly here. We are making some lower highs here. As you can kind of see, we got those very equal highs above us. Could easily be swept. Seeing a little bit of some consolidating on that as you're making some higher lows and a little bit of some lower highs here. So we'll have to watch that shorter term time frame money flow to see if we can get this breakout towards the top side, and that 236, that would be above us. If we are unable to hold that, looking back down to the highs of here at 543 would be an area to really watch for some bouncing at. Let's get that marked on out so you can see it a little bit better there. Coming in at $543.51. That's going to be more of a shorter term time bouncing area to see some bouncing action at if we break to the downside of this consolidating range there. Let's get that trend line drawn on out. making those lower highs on those candle bodies. Looks like we're right at that resistance area, and we've got that bottom side coming in at the support there. Seeing a nice little area of constricting price, a nice little triangle to really see some bouncing action in. You can see it respected that support extremely nicely, respected that resistance extremely nicely, respected the support extremely nicely, and you could expect to kind of get that move back down to our support and kind of do a little bit more sideways ranging here as that MACD has cooled off and prime oscillator has cooled off. Could very easily get that break towards the top side if you can get that money flow coming back in. So watch that shorter term time money flow coming into the evening on Bitcoin Cash. Really see if you get that stronger bounce off of some support, get above our resistance, and then really blast on up to that 236 and $589. That's going to be that price point to really watch for. You do have a little bit of a zone to the top side at 597 where you could see that strong resistance coming into play, but my target would be that 236 and $589 there. Very good this live. Come drink a coffee with leadership and partnership. Simply Bitcoin team, says Iona Benedek. Hopefully I nailed that name there. Jesse saying he just finished some lunch. What'd you have for lunch, Jesse? You always eating something fascinating. Got that good food always on the menu. We try to do the same thing for lunch here. I ate some very good chicken yesterday, so it was quite delicious. Honey, a little bit of barbecue, so a nice little flavorful pack for my lunch. Did you have something just as delicious there? Let's see if we got something else to take a look at. We've been looking at AVAX here quite a bit, so we will get on over to that AVAX chart. That'll probably be the last thing we look at for today. Look at that, getting that nice strong bouncing action off of $22.57 there. That's that area we had talked about. We're getting and holding as some support. I had 4 loaves of bread with ground beef. You're probably not able to eat anything too fancy with after all that surgery there, but at least you're holding down some food. That was always a battle for me after surgeries, and on those pain medications was never able to hold down food after some pain medication. Let's see what we got going on here. 4 hour looking a little bit toppy. Do have that true 7 running a little bit sideways here, so you could very easily see us continue to hold $22.25. That's where we get some very equal price action off of on that shorter term time frame. Get that hourly drawn up so you can really see that. That's pulling from those equal candles there. We got very equal candle bodies here as well, so looking like this is our support area for now. We would need to get above our local price action here. Hold this, let's see, 2265 area to really continue back up above our highs here at $23.12. To see that come in as a little bit of some resistance would not be too unexpected. See that hold price action at $22.85 and then continue above it. So a few little areas to the top side. That ultimate target is still going to be at $24.20. That's where we saw all of our really strong resistance from back here. Saw it as resistance there off of those candle bodies as well. Tried to hold it as some support here on the hourly. Saw us reject off of that $24 price point right here, and then continue all the way to the platinum pocket there. That's going to be our first area of very, very strong resistance above us after we got this strong move back to 22 and 25 cents. Let's get this zoomed on in. Take a look at that 15-minute. See what the morning is bringing our way here. we are making a bit of a fair value gap. So if we get that price action all the way up to the highs of this consolidation range here, would expect to see a little bit of a dip to the midline of wherever this fair value gap candle is going to be, and then get that continuation back to the upside, as that 15-minute does look a little bit toppy here on the prime oscillator, seeing a little bit of sideways momentum come in, but that MACD getting that strong curvature back towards the upside. So we'll really have to watch that shorter term time frame money flow to see if we can get some strength coming off of about a midline bounce there. Would like to at least get above that 2284 to see if we can get that continuation towards the upside. It is a 5:29 and about time to head over to that morning motivational video. I appreciate everyone tuning on in. We have 2 other shows on the Piper Academy with Piper and OC. Piper and OC go live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It is the place to get the breakdown of all of that data you see every single morning. Piper will have 2 data drops to break down this morning, so make sure to tune on in and get that breakdown of data, because we did have coming out at 10 a.m. that ISM and services PMI. That'll be that bigger market mover for today. We also have Trading with OC at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, a great place to learn some TA, do some trading together with someone that enjoys trading just as much as you do, and seeing a little bit of degeneracy in the chats. So if you like to have fun at night, that is the place to be. Other than that, make sure to have a good day, to trade safe, because you might see a little bit of some volatility here in the markets this morning, and then we will see you at the next one. So make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a good day.